Hello, my name is BluePlays, and this is my Viego ability rundown and how competitively viable he will be. So starting off with what he looks like, this champion looks like a Chad, honestly. He looks really cool. I'm getting like Devil May Cry vibes. Like this is just a really cool splash art. Alright, let's move into the ability rundown. So this champion has like a strange mechanic where he can turn into other champions after killing them. And before we get into it, I believe this is going to be very good for people that understand how most of the champions in the game work, and being able to swap between champions mid-combat is quite spectacular. There's also some hidden mechanics such as being able to stall tower shots, but yeah, we'll get into it. Okay, so Viego's passive is called Sovereign's Domination. Viego can temporarily possess any enemy champions he helps kill, healing for a portion of their max health. During possession, Viego's items, attacks, and non-ultimate abilities become those of his slain enemies, and he gains a free cast of his own ultimate, Heartbreaker. While possessing an enemy, Viego also gets bonus movement speed when moving towards enemy champions. Okay, so what's really interesting about his passive here is he also copies items and skill orders, everything, level, everything. He basically turns into a duplicate of the enemy champion. So as long as this isn't bugged, there are some bugged interactions right now, this seems very good. If you manage to take down, say, I'm not sure, like the carry, and they're really fed, and you manage to take them down as a team, now you can turn into their fed carry and turn it onto the enemy team. That seems very useful. But in the same way, if you turn into someone that's super weak, you could just die. And that would be awful. Now, an interesting interaction is if you have a look here, when he possesses someone after killing them, there's like a little channel, and while in this channel, he's actually invulnerable to damage. So he is incredible diving jungler. He can dive the enemy jungle, and if he gets a kill, he can stall the tower shot for about 2 seconds before transferring into the enemy champion, where all their cooldowns will be refreshed. So you get their QWE, but you cannot steal their ult. Alright. So I hope I explained that all. I mean the passive quite, I don't know. Okay. He also gets a healing. He gets to heal whenever he does that as well, and that's quite useful for long drawn-out fights. And that's what this champion seems to thrive in. He's a bit of a duelist. Not really a duelist. I don't know how you'd say it, but jungle does seem to be his optimal role, since he likes to be killing a lot of people around the map. Okay, let's move on to his Q. The rest of the kit is quite basic. So Viego's passive is Viego deals a percent of the target's current health as bonus damage on hit. So this makes sense because his Q is Blade of the Ruined King, because this champion literally holds Blade of the Ruined King. And funny thing is that it's his core item. So when Viego attacks an enemy he recently hit with an ability, the attack strikes twice. The second strike siphons health from the target instead of dealing regular damage, but still applies on-hit effects and can critically strike. This passive is maintained during possession. The fact that this passive is maintained during possession makes him turning into an 80 carry much more interesting. With high attack speed, he can probably heal more than Samira. I don't even know, but we'll see. And Viego is active for he steps forward with his blade, damaging all enemies hit. So it's just a simple Q skill shot. This ability, I like the passive, how it interacts with the actual passive. In that sense, it's good for wave clear, and yeah, it helps his jungle clear quite a bit because he's healing a lot more. I think he's got a weak early jungle, but it's not too bad. Alright, moving on to his W, Spectral Maw. Viego charges up and then dashes forward, hurling a blast of mist that stuns and damages the first enemy hit. Stun duration and miss range increase with charge time. Damage and dash range don't. So yeah, this is his main ganking tool. He can come from the E ability you'll see in a second, but he can come from out of vision or from a bush and stun the enemy. The fact that the charge time and dash range don't, so the longer you charge this ability, it doesn't affect the range. So it's just stun, and I think it's just a single target stun. So yeah. It's okay ganking. It's nothing special. It's not like Rek'Sai or anything like that. But yeah, it's just a useful ability to have in a jungler's kit. Harrowed Path. Viego spreads a wave of black mist around nearby wall, and while in the mist, Viego becomes camouflaged, gains attack speed and movement speed. So this is like Senna ult combined. I mean, Senna W combined with Kiana ult. It wraps around the wall, and he goes into the spirit form kind of thing, which makes him get more attack speed and movement speed. And I think it does damage. But yeah, honestly, this is really good for jungle in general. Skirmishes. It's also good for. Does it let your team hide in it? I don't think so. No, I think it's just you. This is really good for also getting away from, I don't know, any skirmishes, or overall just moving around the map a lot better, seeing as you're quite immobile. And I think this can make some interesting plays, especially around Dragon Baron pit fights. Yeah, you might see him sneak up and get a smite off. You know, it looks quite interesting. And the way it functions with the rest of the kit is quite nice. Now, moving on to Heartbreaker, his ultimate. This is like a pike ult, but Viego discards any bodies he is currently possessing and teleports forward, attacking the enemy champion in range with lowest percent health and dealing bonus magic damage on their missing health. Other enemies in range are knocked away. Yes, it's a bit of a pike ult kind of execute. This is like your reset mechanic where instead of just letting your possession run out after you use all your abilities, you can just go to the next person, kill them, possess them, then use their abilities, possess the next one, and you kind of just chain around in that team fight. The champion's team fight potential seems really strong, especially depending on the enemy champions and the state of the game. I think jungle will be his main role, but he can also be seen played in the mid lane, considering mid has access to a lot of skirmishing within both top and bot side river, and then they also have roaming potential. We're not going to see this guy as support or 8 carry, and as for top lane, I think it depends on the meta. He's got a bit of tank. He can kill tanks with his Q passive, and he has a bit of sustain. So I think in the top lane we'll see. I think there's more potential in jungle and mid, but top also seems to have a little bit of potential. Okay, so excellent. That's Viego. He's a pretty cool champion. I like the design. It's kind of like, it reminds me a lot of Silas, where his QWE are like his kit, and then the R, like in this case his passive, is kind of the identity, and the rest of the kit just functions around that. And I think it's really interesting to see. He seems really similar to Silas in a way, because he has a lot of sustain. He has a lot of. He's a very close range champion, and he's got a bit of engage. So yeah, hopefully we see some great stuff out of Viego. And my name is BluePlays, and have a great day.